And I mean, we had like maybe 3 hours of electricity a day. I was like, look, I can't tape an audition. And this is an amazing script. It's going to go, tell them I love them and good luck. And when I got back to the States, they still hadn't cast it.
Oh, lucky you.
Really lucky me. So, I mean, from there, it's just a generic story. I auditioned and got the part.
And so you're in there, Andrew, a.k.a. Rick, Chandler, a.k.a. Carl. They were your family on The Walking Dead. I guess they'll always, in some ways, to us, be your family. Do you have a different sort of relationship off screen with those cats because of the nature of the proximity of the gig that you did on the set? Or is it the same with all the actors?
Oh, no. I mean, Andy and Chandler.
They're like family now?
Yeah, I mean, Andy certainly. Our daughters are the same age. Our spouses are both stay-at-home parents. Like our whole family is one of the great gifts of the show was that our families just meshed really, really beautifully. And Andy's one of the finest people and best actors that I know. I mean, he's extraordinary. And I am unquestionably a better actor for having worked with him.
Good for you.
And so that was a huge gift. Chandler's more mature than Andy and I put together. I think he tolerates us. He's an amazing young man. He has an incredible family, and he's an incredible professional. And Andy and I, we felt a sense of responsibility to him as the adults that he worked with. And we were very much good cop, bad cop. He was the one that was always like really sweet and really gentle. And I was like, get over here and stand on your mark. Don't make adults wait for you, and he, yes, ma'am. But I mean, I'd take a bullet for that kid. I think the world of him. For his birthday this year, he asked for parts to build his own computer. This acting thing.
It's just part of his portfolio of what he offers, is what you're saying.
He's a great actor.
Talented kid.
He could go all the way, but he could also be the next Steve Jobs if he wanted to be.
That's hot. That's cool. He's a lucky kid. Going into it, did you know that Lori died in mid-season 3? How far in advance did you know this character was going to not make it?
Well, I knew that she died in the comic books. Initially, when Frank was a part of it, according to Frank, he didn't ever want to kill her. And I would argue with him about that. And I said, I think you have to, because you got to send Rick down the rabbit hole. And you can't really do that without killing his wife.
Kill the kid.
Yeah, but to take a man's wife when he loves her and they've had a really heartbreaking time of it, before you've had a chance to say you're sorry.
Right.
I think that does something.
I hear you.
Plus, he's alone in it, right? If he lost his kid, I would lose my kid too, and we would have that. So
be a different storyline, is what you're saying there.
Yeah, it would be. It would be. And then Frank left the show, and the new showrunner gave me a very different timeline initially, and then it changed, I think, in April.
Had you read are you familiar with the whole series of comic books? Do you know the whole story?
I know a lot of it. I stopped reading with the rape of Michonne.
Please don't spoil it for the rest of us. I have not read it, though, so be careful with what
Oh, no,
you
it's
say.
okay. I mean, this is a comic book thing. This isn't the...
What we're going to say.
This is one of those things you just simply couldn't show.
On the screen, yeah.
It's torture porn.
And they've really rewritten quite a bit of it, huh? The whole concept of how, which is fine. I mean, it seems like it's really working. To me, you know what it's like? I hate to say this, but I'm saying it with it's like a huge compliment. To me, it's like Little House on the Prairie of now.
I love that show. It's all good.
It seems like it. Like this last episode, something Chandler was saying, there was like the scene with him, and like I forget what was going on. I was just shaking my head like, man, these guys, this is brilliant how they've made this thing.
It's a neat, one of the things about changing things that I think Robert Kirkman, the guy who wrote the comic books, so he's in the writer's room, and one of the things that I think works really well in the show is that there are things about the comic book that he's not satisfied with. That he'll go, I tried that and it didn't work out, and I wish I'd done something different. So he does something different.
That's cool. You're saying, so he's able to go, well, I didn't do that then, but now it could be different with this.
As opposed to being somebody who would kind of only say,
no, I want to keep the original thing.
Which would be super boring for fans.
Yeah. No, I mean, in the creative liberties, I mean, I don't know It's a good point. Like, I don't know. I haven't read it. I don't want to because I don't want to. Stratton, who's taking our pictures, knows more about it. But and he sits near me. So I'm like, don't tell me things that are gonna screw up the next weekend or whatever. But I get what you're saying. When you, what do you think of this whole, I guess it's sort of since, I don't know when it started, but this whole zombie apocalypse thing. People talk about it. They tweet. There's like, I'm like, did this happen after the show started? I don't quite, what do you make of any of that? You
No.
get any thoughts on that?
I think it started before. I mean, I was talking to someone today who said he pegs it to 28 Days Later, Danny Boyle. You could go all the way back to 1968 with George Romero.
That's the guy, huh?
That's the guy.
That's
the godfather of zombies.
of it all.
Totally. I mean, I think our show has a symbiotic relationship to it, right? I think we exist because zombies were doing so well in features.
Seems so big now. It's everywhere.
It's gotten a little...
All the ads they've got customized to that thing.
It's a big deal.
It is over the top.
It's a big deal.
Your folks, do they watch it?
Yeah, but my mom would really like me to do a comedy with rainbows and ponies.
Of course you would.
Yeah. She's sick of me doing
Who
jobs
can
where
blame
I
your mom?
almost die
Right.
every
It's a
week.
frightening thing to think about from a parent's perspective.
Yeah, she wants me on like, 2.5 Men or 2 Broke Girls or something.
When did the thing stop filming?
The season stopped filming 2 days ago.
Do you miss the cats and the camaraderie that you
Yeah.
guys had?
Best cast and best crew I've ever worked with. I mean, our crew, I say this having never had a chance to work in Hawaii. So I don't know the Hawaii crews. I've never even been available to audition for anything that shoot in Hawaii, but it's the best crew I've ever worked with. They are superheroes because it's hot and there's ticks and there's snakes and there's lightning storms and these men and women they make it happen. It's been 3 years, I mean, of the actors who started on the pilot, Andy Chandler and I are the only ones who were alive, and now there's just 2 of them. And so there's a real deep sense of connection.
Yeah, I bet. So Andy and Chandler, buds, heavy hardcore now?
Oh, yeah.
Big bonding thing there. It's like a kid, and he's
Yeah.
like with this adult, and it's like got to be like more than it's like friends. It's got to be like kind of like that cool uncle, kind of be like mentor, right? Like so many different roles that he takes on.
Yeah.
We're talking about Rick and Carl here on the thing, and the way that they buzz bond in real life.
I think so. The first time one of our sort of original gang got killed, the night Jeff DeMunn got killed.
Which one was Jeff? Who's he?
He played Dale.
Oh, okay, Dale.
Brilliantly. And I adore Jeff. I mean, he's a legend. The night he died, I remember it was night and there was all this mist in the field. And I remember looking over at Chandler and he was just standing by himself in the field. And I walked up to him. I was like, "How you doing, buddy?" And he just kind of leaned into me and just like one tear. And I just thought, oh God, we're grown-ups. We know the job's end, you move on. But this is his first set family. Wow. And so, I was like, okay, hot chocolate and cookies. And he was like, that's a great idea. And so we sat down and after that, I think all of us started paying closer attention to who is Chandler losing and what's that,
like for him.
Yeah. When he lost John Bernthal, right?
Right.
Huge blow to all of us. I mean.
And that was him in that cameo last week, right? He came back, they had him on the screen real briefly.
Oh, was that last week?
Like Rick's,
Yeah.
my episode director here, was that last week that we had the Shane recap?
I don't have TV, so I haven't
Right. And this isn't airing exactly right when there was last week.
Yeah.
So it was like the first weekend in December, I guess.
Yeah.
And there was like a quick on-screen, Rick was having like a flashback.
And did he have the crazy beard?
Yeah, he did. He had the crazy, and it was hard to recognize. So that was really him.
That was really John.
Well, that's a great question that I have that I got to credit my little brother for kind of putting in my head earlier. Mm-hmm. Thinking of Lori and thinking of that incident we just described with Shane's reoccurring on the show after he was gone. Is there the potential for a zombified version of Lori to make a cameo in a future episode? Because while it's implied she was eaten, we don't really know that she was, correct?
Well, you see a belly full of her.
Do we know it's her?
Right. I mean, you're supposed to think it's her.
So
you're supposed to believe it's her.
So you're saying, no, you're not going to have a little cameo. I guess that's where we're going with this question is Lori going to come back and be, but she could always be in somebody's mind, huh? It doesn't have to be right?
It's
it could
possible.
be a mom, because Shane wasn't really there. It was a mental thing. So Lori can, I guess, anybody could. So you have like a little option in the contract. How would that work?
I'll be honest, I'm not entirely sure. I do. I mean, I did the voiceover, right, for that episode where Rick's on the phone.
Yeah. And you provide the motivation. You're like, get it.
That whole thing. Yeah. I mean, it's not impossible that
It could happen.
as Rick's mind becomes more diseased. But, I mean, if you're talking about seeing her again, you'd be talking about seeing her the way you see Shane, which is like,
I get it.
I think the days of Rick and Lori being able to sit down and
Interact
hash
and
things
stuff.
out,
Or
I would
toast.
imagine are over. But, I mean, they cut my belly open and pulled out a baby, and if a little boy shot me in the head. I suppose they could do anything. I just don't know.
Yeah, it's, I
quite
guess,
how
the
you do
zombie
it.
version of you, I guess, is that all. We're still just wondering if that could, because
It would be interesting.
we don't know, huh?
We don't know. I mean,
The way
there
it's
was,
left, you're assuming that this guy devoured the woman, that one cat with the big belly, but you don't know for sure.
You don't know for sure. I think by the end of the season, there'll be clarity about it.
Well, that'll be fine.
I think that's right.
Gonna be hard for you, huh? Letting go of this thing. Is it hard? I mean, I know you got a couple things. Faces in the
Yeah.
Crowd, new movie.
No, that came out.
That's already happened.
Came and went, but went more than it came, to be perfectly honest. I had a ball working on that. Mila Jovovich is an absolute angel. We had a wonderful time. But no, that was...
She's super.
That's done. But no, Black Sky I shot right
Black
after.
Sky.
And actually Black November, that Nigeria movie, they're looking at bringing it out in 2013 because they didn't finish it until recently.
And that'll be like theaters or in like the DVD.
I don't know.
It's weird these days how they
It's super weird.
how they do that. Hey Stratton, what's the time on that thing?
26:48.
Isn't he the best? Cool. Yeah, we'll wrap in a second. All right. So the thing we should look for is Black Star, possibly. What are we going to look for?
Black Sky.
Black Sky.
I suppose. Yeah.
I'm thinking of a coffee shop in Amsterdam, Black Star.
Thinking of a coffee shop in Amsterdam is always going to take your brain out and away.
So Black Sky,
Black Sky. Yeah. I sold a screenplay.
and then maybe the African thing.
Maybe the African thing. Yeah. There's a few things up my sleeve.
Yeah, that was Elena's Serenade.
Yeah.
You're first.
First so far.
Right,
Hopefully
exactly.
by the end of next year. I'd like to.
There'll be lots more.
Hopefully so. But yeah, I'm hoping we get into production on the darn thing. Movies take so much longer than television.
Right.
I mean,
Hey, that show's practically like a movie every week. You're to be commended. It's a fantastic part of
thank
your
you.
legacy. You looked great. You were very convincing. You won people over, and you make Hawaii real proud. So just know a lot of people are really enthused, and I am personally grateful that you took time to come down here today. I hope this wasn't a hassle for you. And
no, this is awesome. And hopefully the next thing that's coming down the pike, we can actually shoot in Hawaii.
yeah,
You
and
can come to set and check it out.
I would love that. Will you make me a promise that next time you're back in town, will you come by and update us on your life's travels?
Absolutely.
You like our little room, the Atherton?
I love the little room.
Is this thing awesome?
Hopefully
or
next
what?
time I get to see the NPR band.
Well, maybe you'll be in it. Do you play anything?
I don't.
Yeah, well,
I can sing.
Yeah, you can
I
be.
guess.
Well, you could sing or just be a zombie.
No.
No more zombies.
I'm done with that.
The zombies are done. It is Sarah Wayne Callies, Walking Dead, aka Lori Grimes from the show, and thank you so much for being willing to do this.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Ciao.